It's mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got James Madison. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in. Say,
oh, God.
So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, steady punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochiko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team.
6 minutes.
For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochiko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her and I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time
for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Monday, February 19th. We have a big show for you. We have good news also that Lloyd is here. He's in his camo.
Made it.
He's looking at hunting
Country
Lloyd, fishing Lloyd. He made it back. It felt, I would imagine, from being here, not there, it seemed like it was a very miserable weekend for you.
We made it
to go and fish.
We made it fun.
I'm sure you made it as fun as you could make it.
Just a lot of positivity, a lot of bonding.
I mean, that's you're on the water, so the wind's going to be even more pronounced. And it was cold.
I am dead inside.
And did you actually throw a line out?
Nope.
I didn't think you would.
No.
You drink some beer.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured
Flip
you drank.
cup?
Not a single line.
You drank some beer.
Not a single.
How was the
I
houseboat?
mean,
Do we get pictures of the houseboat?
Yeah, I have a couple. I might put them in
Are
the
they
dock.
nice? Was the houseboat
Oh,
nice?
yeah, it was fun. And then we had an RV that was off to the side if you wanted to do that.
Oh, so
little
y'all
adventure.
weren't. There was grass where you are at.
Yeah, well,
There
it was
was
gravel.
There was land.
Yeah,
So you weren't like strictly in the middle of the water.
felt like we were.
But you weren't though. Like you could like get out the houseboat and then get on the gravel if you needed to. Like,
Yeah, if you want to touch
need-
some grass, you could do it.
Yeah. Okay.
We did. And what else? Cornhole. We did that. It pretty much any activity you could think of to kind of kill time.
Yeah.
Because the first day, obviously,
TV, cable, internet?
No.
No TV?
No internet either.
Wow.
So I have no idea what happened this weekend.
Wow.
I am in the dark.
Well, good. I'm glad
That's about as disconnected as you can get right there.
No, I'm glad you're part of the show because
Yeah.
we're going to fill you in on everything that happened. I don't assume you're going to offer much to the conversation.
Not at all.
Lloyd
You
did
can
this on
ask-
purpose because he doesn't like LSU baseball, so I knew what he was trying to do.
And it's probably better because now you can just ask questions. And
I
it
feel
just
like a
keeps
listener.
Yeah, exactly. So ask questions. It's also Ask Mikey and Mitch Monday because, why
not?
We didn't have it last week. We don't have Jay on today because they just finished a game. And so we have a lot of time to add the Ask Mikey and Mitch segment to this Monday. So we didn't promote it. It was kind of a last-minute thing. If you have questions in the chat, go ahead and
Fire
throw them in
away.
there. Fire away. Obviously, 4 games. A lot of really good positive things for LSU baseball this weekend.
Oh, good.
A lot of things that – what?
Good. I mean, this is all news to me.
Oh, yeah, right. A lot of things that you could probably have some question marks, right? The second game was not great as far as walks go. The third game, they scored 27 runs. So that's good. Today, 4-3, they closed it out. I think you're starting to see that there's some people that maybe some players that we didn't really talk about, or maybe we mentioned towards the end of spring leading up to the season that we didn't know how much of an impact they were going to have. They're starting to have an impact pretty early on in the year. We're going to get to that before we really dive into the baseball conversation. LSU men's basketball.
Also played.
I oppo mushed them this time. So I'm watching the game first half a little bit. Ends the game. I think the first half ended. They were down like 6 or 7. So then I have to go do something, and then I come back and I turn it back on, and they're down 16 points. And I'm like, or they're down like 12, and it gets up to 16. I'm like, I'm out. LSU baseball it was back and forth. So I went to LSU baseball, watched that. And then all of a sudden, I go to dinner, and I come back and look at the score. LSU basketball came back and won 64-60 on the road at South Carolina, who was ranked 11th in the country at the time. Huge win for them. Huge win for the program. They have a lot of really close losses, so they're not far off. Obviously, their record, I think they've played better than their record. Their non-conference schedule and the results of their non-conference wasn't great. I think they're still trying to figure some stuff out. When they've played in conference, they've been playing a lot better, so that's encouraging. LSU Softball is undefeated still, and they're making some moves. Beth Torina, congratulations on her 500th win. That's a huge milestone. Congratulations. I've gotten to know Beth a little bit over the years, and she's a great person, great coach.
Great person.
Obviously, congratulations to the 500th win of her career. And then LSU women's basketball playing at Texas A&M right now, apparently, with no TV on. It's actually pretty good. We're focused on the show. No major upsets that happened in the SEC this weekend as far as baseball goes. Arkansas played 4 games against James Madison. We talked about that kind of being maybe a tough test for them. They won 3-1 against James Madison. Mississippi State took 2 out of 3. Ole Miss went 2-2 against Hawaii. They're in the island, which is great for them. Great that they got to go to Hawaii. Great they got to experience that. Not great they went 2-2. I'd imagine they had a little bit of jet lag.
Distraction?
Yeah, and maybe, listen, when we were kids, we're at tournaments. Our coaches would not let us go swimming. If we had a tournament in Florida, do not go to the beach. The sun, the water, you're going to drain you. You're not going to be good. Every time we went to the beach or did something, went to the pool or did whatever, the next day we stunk. So maybe that was part of it. Great experience for them. They go 2-2. Missouri took 2 out of 3 from Cal Poly. The other series that we had talked about that we thought was going to be pretty tough was Vanderbilt against FAU. They took 2 out of 3 of FAU. So great season. Great opening week. Great season. Great opening weekend all around for the SEC. Tennessee took 2 out of 3 in that tournament in Arlington. So
Back to football.
What?
Let's get to football now.
Let's get to football. But we're not here to talk about all the SEC. We're going to talk about that later in the week. We're here to talk about LSU. Funky weekend. As far as the 4 games, you play 2 against one team, 2 against another team. You play on Monday. It was
3 or 4 day games.
all day.
All day games.
All day games. So here's the other thing. They have their first 8 games of the season are all day games. So day game on Friday, day game on Saturday, day game on Sunday, day game on Monday, which you're not normally playing on Monday. Normally this is their off day.
On President's Day, nonetheless.
Well, that's why they're doing it, because everybody's off on President, which I didn't know that I was off today for my day job.
Almost hit the road today.
I almost hit the road to Lafayette, and I was like, let me check. Make sure I didn't forget it was President's Day.
Federal holiday?
Sure enough, we're off. So I was like, I am not getting on the road. I'm staying in Baton Rouge today. This is great. And but so that was why they played on Monday.
I should have stayed at Pawpaw Court.
Yeah. Well, you're not off. We're not off.
Clearly.
We're not off here.
You tried. You gave it a
You
run.
tried. You gave it a run.
College
You
try.
got here just in time. Just in time.
Shout out Joe
Thank
for
God.
getting
Shout
this
out
set
Joe
up.
Mitchell. Appreciate you for setting this up because Lloyd was not here to do that.
My cat had
But
surgery.
LSU's off tomorrow. They're off on Wednesday. Then they have another 4-game series this weekend starting on Thursday. So they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day games. So their first 8 games of the season are day games. It's a little bit different and unique. Kind of messes up our show rhythm a little bit, but it's
I
okay.
think Jay did this on purpose. We're going to have to talk
okay.
to him about this.
Well, look, hopefully on Wednesday.
We got a bone to pick.
We're going to have a conversation with Jay here soon about what he liked from opening weekend, what he liked in the season. Also, we're going to have to fix our – we're going to have to make sure we get all the
Well, we got to get Lloyd
the
back
kinks
in the
out.
regular.
Yeah, Lloyd needs
We
to
gotta
have
get
a
back
little
Lloyd in the
recovery
regular
day.
clothes first before we can do any of that. He's still literally on the houseboat right now.
Yeah, you need to have a little recovery day.
There's a chance I could throw up during this show.
Okay, you've done it before.
I have.
You've done it before. Can you let's lower the camera down a little bit?
Oh,
I'm going to
absolutely.
keep you – listen, we got you today, all right?
Thank you. Carry me.
We got a lot.
Fire
We got
and
lots
carry
of.
me.
We got lots of. Well, that's another thing. We should have taken some video today, but we didn't to promote it. As far as what we're gonna do on Sunday, but me and Jared are the Firefighters Association. They're having a fundraiser this Sunday. Me and Jared got asked to be on the celebrity. I'm putting in quotes because I don't consider
That's definitely
us celebrity.
big air quotes. Yeah, big air quotes.
We are on the celebrity
Your neighborhood
firefighters team relay race, which means we put on all the gear, have to put on the tank, which, by the way, unbelievably heavy.
Respect.
Respect. We got to get through a door, then we got to drag some
Hey, yo, I didn't sign up for that. My wife would not approve of that. I'm just letting you know right now. I did not sign up for that.
Now I'm in.
Don't try to don't out me on. I got nothing to do with this. That's not what I signed up for.
We're gonna. We have to drag a water hose.
Okay.
Hey,
That's
but
what
like
firemen do.
the pressured one, where like they have it fully like, and you have to go with the like you're probably wearing 60, 70 pounds worth of stuff on your body. And we have to run with that.
With the one with the water in it, right?
with the water in it.
Yeah.
Then there's then you have to grab a dummy that's like 125
120 pound
pounds
dummy.
of dead weight. So you got to drag the dummy out. Then you have to take the empty water hose and you have to run up the levee and then you have to pull it all the way up. It's gonna be
This is
now
with the tank on your back.
you do one event per person. So it's not like we're doing. I would die. Allie is looking at me. She's, I'm telling you, you gotta go like start running, get your cardio back up. I'm like, I don't have to do the whole thing. I just gotta do one thing.
F45 every Wednesday.
But it's gonna be fun. It's more challenging than I thought it was gonna be, but it's gonna be good. We got that on Sunday, so
We have to have Jack film. Like,
no doubt
yeah.
we'll have some content coming out from there. Obviously, get their permission, but I don't think they'd have any qualms with that. It's a good promotion for them.
And for the hose.
And for those. Yeah. All right, let's get to this baseball conversation. So obviously they play opening day. We got to go. We're all there. You were there for a little bit before you left.
That was another can of worms.
Yeah. They beat VMI 11-8. I think the game was the score didn't indicate the it wasn't as close to the score
Indicated.
I think the opening day you had some opening day issues that you have. You know, you have some jitters. You have, Thatcher started out great, had the bad inning, and then he comes out. Ackenhausen kind of rights his ship, gives up a few runs, nothing crazy, but his line looks way better than it actually was. They gave up 3 runs, but he looked really good.
Was that all in the last inning?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And-
Ackenhausen, it's starting to, I feel like 60 pitches is about what you're getting from him.
Right,
From
right.
either last year and this year, it's kind of like that seems to be the number.
He's a good swing guy. And so you had some really good things. Obviously, you had some of the guys in the lineup come up with some big hits. They drove them balls out of the ballpark. It was a great opening day. The rain kind of stayed away. What?
Which we will also preview.
What?
And
Oh
break
yeah,
down.
that's the other thing. We have some more swings. It was backed by popular demand.
Yes.
We had some requests that they liked the segment. They liked us doing that. We're gonna do that until maybe Jay or someone says don't do it anymore. So
I'm trying to figure out how to get people out.
yeah, listen, we're not showing you anything we're only showing good stuff. We're not giving scouting reports, and we're not showing you anything that other teams can't see. Right? There's video cameras. There's things they can go and get their own stuff. So it's like we're outing anything.
Houston Astros.
Yeah, it's in game. That's in game. I'm not. I mean, maybe they're doing it. Maybe they are doing it. But the Friday game was good. The Friday game, I believe, was close. I got to bring up the box scores, but the back end, they gave up some runs towards, I think it was 11-4, 11-5, and they gave up some runs towards the back end. Jared, you nailed it. The over and the 6.5. You said you didn't like the 6.5.
Didn't like it.
You would have won.
I said it the wrong way, I think, the first time. And then I said it, if I was a betting man, I'd go that way. One of the ways is the way I said it.
You were right, because I remember we were.
No, you said you like the overruns, but you don't
didn't
like the
the
run
6.5.
line of 6.5.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
And you're right.
Because I did both, so just kind of a bit of a wash there.
You did both.
I put the bet in before I went to Paw Paw Court, and then you had to go outside against the houseboat to get service to be able to gamble, and then you couldn't even watch.
Boy,
the
that's
game.
tough, man. They didn't have the houseboat set up ready for that. You got to have internet. You got to have TV in there. There's no TV in there at all.
No, there was a TV, but it didn't have any cable.
So there's no generator, nothing? So you don't have heat?
We had a fire.
Inside the houseboat? I'm
No,
talking about.
oh yeah, there was air conditioning and a heat, but there was no connection to cable.
Nobody had a
laptop, but then you couldn't get internet.
Nobody had a
No modem,
wireless
no
hotspot on the phone.
We didn't get enough service.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
tough.
a fucking disaster.
That is a disaster.
Well, you boys are out there, huh?
A whole lot of getting to know you.
That is a disaster.
Playing beer pong in the wind, a blast.
That's got to be very hard.
Flip cup in the wind, a blast.
I can imagine.
Couldn't even fish the first day we were there because it was too windy. Like, you can't even get back. Like, they were
Boy,
like, you
that's-
can't go fish. You can't rent a kayak if you wanted to. I was not. I don't
Did
even have a fisherman's.
Did you have someone manning the grill at least?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so someone's on the grill at all times, cooking, doing whatever. Do you have extracurriculars for y'all, so y'all to hang out and make things more fun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I tried to set up a challenge scenario where we pick teams and I tried to do that, but then it was
Like
just
a drinking Olympics type
yeah,
thing?
and it all just fell.
That's
to
okay.
shit. But it was okay. It was fun.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wish I could have watched the baseball team.
And that's why we're here.
Exactly. Learn me
The
something.
most impressive thing out of game one, right? You always want to take out, okay, what was your biggest takeaway from game to game? And look, Justin Lohr looked really good. I liked the way he looked. Gavin Guidry, he did what he needed to do. I think for me, the most impressive player I saw out of game one was Gage Jump. Gage Jump was 95, 97 from the left side, threw an inning, closed the game out, struck out 2. Jay's going to bring him along slowly. He will be in the rotation at some point this year.
Yeah, I think he's on what we thought was Thatcher's plan last year, right? So as long as he can continue progressing physically and getting the innings and all of that stuff under his belt, I would imagine he's going to get into the rotation. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't that unimpressed with Thatcher's start. He may just be, whether you like it, love it, hate it, or whatever it is, I guess we would all love to be fast starters. He may just be a slow starter. If I remember correctly, last year he had actual problems throwing strikes to start the year.
Right.
And that kind of snowballed a little bit until he had that one really bad outing, and then it all turned around from that spot, right? This year, that wasn't the case. He just got hit around a little bit, but we're forgetting that that's the same lineup that hit 320 as a team last year, right? They had a good hitting lineup. You can call them whatever you want. Baseball's still baseball, and it's still got to come over the plate, right? They swung the bat well last year, and that's obviously carried over a little bit into this year. So I'm really, really, really going to have eyes on how Thatcher throws going forward, but he may just be somewhat of a slow starter, and that's okay because I don't really care about having you hot in February.
Agreed. 100%.
Shocking that VMI is the number 5 offense in the country last year.
We missed that. We
missed that. So, we didn't even speak about that. Yeah.
Well, we did talk about their offense before. We talked about them.
We did, but we didn't speak about that part of it. We didn't speak that they were that highly rated.
Right.
We just said, they hit 320. We were like, hey,
I didn't know
you say what you want.
Yeah,
they were the 5th rated offense in the country last year.
Right.
And brought back a good bit of their roster.
Yeah. And the swings I saw, I'm going to be honest with you, they were not cheap swings. They were not cheap hits. Boys swung the bat well, and they hit balls hard.
They did.
Respect to the service academies.
No doubt. Listen, that was the thing. The big separator between elite teams and teams that can just sneak up on you.
This is at all levels. This is at all levels of baseball.
Levels.
Please say it.
All levels of baseball. I'm not saying it's easy to hit because it's not, but it's easier to find people who can hit. There's more of those out there than the elite arms. Yeah. That's why pitchers get paid so much. That's why they're such a hot commodity in the draft. And so the elite teams have a lot more pitchers in their rotation on their staff to throw out there.
Pitchers are kind of like O linemen, if you will, kind of like D linemen, if you will. I don't give a damn what kind of skill position players you got. If we ain't got the big boys to push you around up front, we're not going to score the rock, or we're not going to stop you from scoring the rock.
Exactly.
So, the same thing.
Exactly, right? And so, that's the big
separator.
The separator between these elite teams and these other teams, right? They may have one guy that can go out there and maybe compete on the mound, but everybody's got to be perfect on the mound. That's the difference. So, VMI was a good test for our staff, and then you go to game 2, right? I'm going to go through there's 4 of them. We'll go through all of them, and then we'll take questions and just recap them all. Game 2 was against Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas played LSU tough both games. Both games were tight. The first game they played was very miserable to play in. Those were the typical February.
Coach, I'm going to tell you what. I got up Saturday morning.
I had tickets. We didn't want to go.
I got up Saturday morning. Regular routine. Was like, let me go make this coffee. Open my balcony door. I was like, man, let me blow my nose because I'm all stopped up. And as soon as I opened the door, I opened the door and I go, hell no, I ain't going out there today.
Miserable.
You already know. It's like one of them days where it's like, oh, it's so pretty. Look at it. But then you sit out there. You're not the guy that's moving. You sit out there for 45 minutes and you're like, no, sir, I'm out. This is terrible. This feels awful. That's what it felt like, Sal.
I was
miserable.
Out there.
What?
Awful.
Well, you were fishing.
Well, you were going back from the houseboat to the camper, so like that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
That was it was miserable, but
Terrible uniforms for Central Arkansas.
Yeah, not great. I'm sure the budget isn't the same.
How would you know? You didn't see it.
I saw a picture.
You saw pictures? There you go. I'll picture.
Cracked open the newspaper.
With that weather and the 20-mile-an-hour gust of wind, it's very hard. You knew it was going to be a low-scoring game. And you had Luke Holman on the mound. Everybody wanted to see how Luke Holman was going to do. 5 1/3, 10 strikeouts.
As advertised.
3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, lights out, right? Threw really well, lived on the top of the zone with his – I think he had 4 or 5 strikeouts on elevated heaters. Had total control of everything he wanted to do. So he goes out there and puts up a goose egg. Griffin Herring follows him, throws an inning, walks 3 guys, doesn't give up any runs though. Okay? And then this next guy, I'm going to highlight twice in 2 games. In both games he pitched were the closest games of the weekend. Both against Central Arkansas and both in big moments. Fidel Ulloa.
Would you say that's also kind of a indicator on where Jay is probably thinking he could probably fit into this bullpen situation?
Yes. So this guy's 2 appearances, his first 2 appearances at LSU were both in back ends of close games. He threw an inning in the 3rd, gave up 1 hit, struck out 3, walked 1, no runs. Right? This is in game 2 when the final score was 2-0. So LSU shut him out. They only scored 2 runs. And so you can't make many mistakes on the mound. He shoves. DJ Primo, who also threw again today, threw a 1/3 of an inning. and that was it. Took him out. And then Sam Dutton, who's
Slammer.
another name who I think
Sneaky.
they are very happy and very excited with him because they feel like he's kind of ticked up velo. He's always been able to throw strikes, but his velo's ticked up. He came in this game, threw 1 inning, got the save, struck out 2 in the 9th, right? So 2-0 game, I think that to me is something to look at and say, okay, that's a good first test. Bad weather, tough conditions, not going to outscore these guys. Those are games that you can easily get away and lose a little bit of focus and get these guys on base, and a bloop single scores 2, and it's a tie game, and they end up winning.
Great to have Fidel in the Cold War.
Here we go.
Wow.
Here we go. I didn't think
Nuanced.
we said it before the show that this wasn't going to take him long to do something, and I didn't think it was going to be this quick.
That's where he decided to actually hop into the show today.
That was it, huh?
Only thing I knew about
He's
the
literally
weekend.
just been working the fingers, and he finally turns his microphone on, and that's the first thing he says today.
That was it. Hey, listen. So I enjoyed this game because it was something that you don't usually see early on in the year. You saw a couple guys that maybe you weren't expecting to see on the mound do what they needed to do. And then there's one guy that we mentioned on Wednesday when we were talking about the depth of the infield. And that person is
Monster.
What?
Monster.
Well, they call him Monster. He's not a monster. He's
Tell
5'8",
Tell him that.
but he thinks he's a monster. His name is Steven Milam, switch hitter, infielder.
Dog.
Love his swing. Love his swing. Love the way he looks at the plate. And he goes 1 for 1 with 2 walks in the second game, right? And so you're like, oh, man, I really like the way he looked. Is he gonna stick with him? And boy, did he stick with him. Played him again on Sunday, where LSU won 27-5 on Sunday. So that's not, what are we going to talk about that one? Like, that was just kind of got blown out. I mean,
How did that happen?
They scored 27 runs.
I know, but just like.
They touched the plate 27 times.
But what is it, like home runs? Or
Well, they also had 20-something hits.
Yeah,
I
so
imagine.
some home runs. Brady Neal hit a grand slam. Milam went 4 for 6 in the leadoff spot in that game. Tommy White hit 2-hole, went 2 for 3. Travinsky went 3 for 5. Brady Neal went 3 for 3 with 6 RBIs in the grand slam, 2 doubles. So that's how they scored 27 runs. Everybody played. Like, everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody that was able to get in that bat got in that bat.
Everybody hits, everybody scores.
That's it. Javen Coleman started that game, threw 3 innings, struck out 3, walked 2. This is the game Cam Johnson had made his debut. Wasn't great. First game jitters. Listen, first time out there. Weather's not ideal. He's a freshman. He's trying to make an impact. Couldn't find the strike zone.
I'm not going to give him as many excuses, but
Yeah, okay.
But like, you're here at this time. You're here. Like this
Right.
is the time where you step up and you get judged just like anybody else, right? Freshman, yes. The rest of it, no. He expects better. Jay expects better. Everybody on that staff
Yep.
expects better,
No
and I'm
doubt.
sure we're going to get better from him.
Right.
So we'll just see.
First outing, 1 inning, 4 runs, 4 earned, 6
Oh.
walks. 6 walks. So he's got electric stuff. His fastball is something that moves in the same rate as a right-handed sweeping slider does. But there's a fastball from the left side, so like same movement, which is very hard to control, but also very nasty when you can't control it. And look, first outing, not great. If there was one thing that we could talk about this game is they had 12 walks. LSU had 12 walks to the pitching staff. First weekend, you're gonna get some of these. You're gonna have to work through it. You're gonna have to. Everything's not gonna be perfect. I'm glad some of these things haven't been perfect. Like, you don't want to go through first weekend like, damn, we struck out everybody. We gave up no runs. We didn't walk anybody, and we hit 400 on the weekend. Like, you don't really want that.
And you got to remember too, it doesn't matter how good or how bad it was, right? It's still going to be somewhere in the middle by the time this thing's over and they get to the end of that 56 and go into the postseason. Like I already mentioned him before, but we do remember Thatcher's start last year. It wasn't as ideal. We all thought it was this old big transfer coming from UCLA off of a good portion of the year before, coming back from injury, right? You thought he would come in and just from the jump dominate. It took him a while to get going, but I think anybody in here and anybody who watched LSU play this weekend would take what you got from Thatcher at the end of the year, right?
Right.
There's plenty of time left, and you may get the same kind of a thing from Cam Johnson, but whatever you saw this weekend, it ain't as bad as whatever was bad, and it ain't gonna be as good as whatever. It's gonna be somewhere in the middle.
No doubt. No doubt. And like I said, don't put too much stock into the first weekend of the season. Now, you can look at things. We can talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. We want to see better. We want to see more of. But don't just chalk it up to, this guy's not good. Like, Braswell didn't have a great weekend. Oh, he can't hit. We don't know that yet. We don't know if it was just a bad weekend, right? Milam hit .545 on the weekend. Oh, he's going to be an All-American. Yeah, I hope so. He looks great. You don't want to put too much stock into it. We're just going to talk about what we saw, right? And what we saw was the guys that you wanted to have a good start to the season had a good start to the season. Tommy White, 400 opening weekend, right? Didn't hit any homers. Had to hit some balls really hard. Today he hit a ball. He went 2 for 3 today, and the one out, he hit the ball 100 and something miles an hour right field, right on a line to the right fielder. Like, it was just –
That's when you know you're a good hitter, right? When you seemingly go under the radar and you didn't do anything great, and on the weekend, through 4 games, you're still hitting 400.
Hitting 400, right? Travinsky's hitting .571 on the weekend. So
good?
through the first 4 games of the season, hitting .571,
He looks like
that
he's
is
in
good.
mid-season form right now.
No doubt.
That
He
swing
looks
is looking
solid.
crispy.
And that's the swing that we are going to break down on his homer.
Apparently, he had an absolute tater.
It was off the scoreboard,
Okay.
and that's the swing that we're showing, and it is sexy.
Yeah, it's his. He took the 3-wood out and just went to work with
It
it.
is sexy. Jared Jones, that was another conversation, right? We want to see him get off to a good start.
And he did.
He didn't face a lot of guys this weekend that threw hard, so they're kind of thumbing him some things. 3 homers over the weekend, right? And he's a strong guy, so he's able to get balls out maybe that
Other
weren't
people can't.
flushed,
Yeah.
right? But that's what you get from him.
There's
Like,
some
that's
scary
okay.
potential in that body.
Absolutely.
And, man, it's really good to see him get off to a good start. It's really good to see him get some confidence kind of going, and I know he can. Take that and ride that through the season and see where you can go with it. But there's some absolute thunder in that bat, and it's kind of scary to think what he's got the potential to do when you watch him play.
Another guy, we had him on our show, and we like him a lot, is Jake Brown. We talked about him starting the season at right field. He started today in center field. Paxton didn't get to start today. Jake Brown got to start in center field. He's hitting 600 to start the season. Went 2 for 4 today. I think he's obviously shown Jay that he's capable of doing a whole bunch of different things. You can put him in center, you can put him in right. He came in as a pitcher, remember that. Like, he was a two-way guy, but they recruited him more as a pitcher, and he kind of hit his way into the starting lineup. And so I think that's an important takeaway from this game is you may see him play some center, you may see him play some right, you may see him play some first, but you're going to see him a lot. And I think the second and maybe the bigger takeaway from Game 4 is I think LSU has their ace of the future, and that's Cade Anderson. That's the lefty freshman. And from what I've been told, in watching him today, obviously, he looked the part. Threw 4 innings, struck out 6. He did walk 3, only give up 3 hits, 1 run. He was 93 to 95 from the left side with a Clayton Kershaw-esque curveball. And so they love his makeup. They love his ability. They love what he can do. He's obviously a freshman, got the start, but they're very, very high on him. And, if he keeps going in the trajectory that I think he's going to, they think he has the ability to be the next great one to come out of LSU. Like, as a freshman, sophomore, like that guy to come in from the start and make it through a la Aaron Nola, a la Kevin Gosman. I mean, when was the last time we had an elite left-handed starter?
I really thought you were about to say elite starter. I'm about to say
Left-handed starter.
6 months ago.
Elite left-handed starter, though. That's like not just elite in college, but like, damn, this guy is like bona fide draft guy, first-rounder. He has the potential to do that, which is very encouraging, right?
The other pitcher I would say that I feel like probably wowed a bunch of people or were happy to see was probably Jump. Gage
Well, that's what
Jump.
I'm saying on game one. That was the most
Yeah.
impressive part of game one to me.
Yeah.
Was Gage Jump. So you could see
You could also see probably working as a starter at some point.
what? Did you miss the first?
Yeah.
Okay, you missed the first game that we just
You
recapped.
mean when you were on the buttons, you really weren't listening to anything
I
being
was
said?
waiting for that Fidel.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what we talked about earlier in
Okay,
game one.
good.
That was the most impressive thing out of game one was Gage Jump, and that they're moving him along slowly, but you're probably going to see him in the rotation.
And now we're on to
Now we're
Cade.
on to Cade Anderson, who was in the rotation this weekend. Christian Little threw. Forgot name. Touched 97. Looked good. Threw an 89. He's throwing like a little bit of a cutter now. Mm-hmm. Throws an 89-mile cutter and a breaking ball. 1 1/3. Only walked 1. Struck out 1. Gave up 1. But he actually looked good. Like,
They said he fell off the mound early
I missed
when
that.
he was warming up. I just listened to the radio.
I missed that.
Doug paints a great picture.
He does. Gavin Guidry came in, did his thing. Inning in the third, struck out 2, put him in a big situation. He looked really good. And then Justin Lohr came back in again, 1 inning, 3 punchies. And then our guy Fidel came back in to close the game in the 9th on a 4-3 game.
You know, we sit here and we talk about all these names that we've thrown out there, and we still have been remiss. We haven't said anything about Alex Milazzo, who also had a good weekend.
Yep.
We barely spoke about Nate Ackenhausen. We haven't really spoken about Riley Cooper. Like that.
Well,
goes
Riley
through-
Cooper we won't speak about.
Well, that's true too. I don't know why I just said that.
Well, because Nate and Riley are the same guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nate came out and threw the way he threw, and it's like, wow, okay, so the depth is still
Oh, no.
there.
Yeah.
In which we knew already, and now it's going to be really impressive to kind of see, all right, how are we going to mold this all into, I won't say roles, but kind of almost what you expect to see out there, right? Now, there's still a lot of time. This is not going to happen over the next week or the next 2 weeks, but this team is still loaded, and this team is still primed to make a very, very, very deep run, right? It should be very interesting to see this thing go forward.
Look, all three of the catchers had an opportunity to start. All 3 of the catchers threw guys out when they started.
Yeah.
Right? This is VMI likes to run. They were able to cut down 3-4 guys,
They got
maybe
some-
more than that, or the
2 or
games they
3
played
for
them.
sure from
On
Milazzo,
Friday.
yeah.
On Friday, and then
Brady Neal caught 2.
Brady Neal caught
Risky
2.
caught 1 off the knees.
Yeah, so the catchers controlled the running game really well. That's a credit to the pitching staff as well. But you have 3 of them back there that can do some serious damage, and hold their own, control the game, call a good game. You didn't really see many things go wrong behind the dish. So all in all, I was very encouraged by what we saw this weekend. Not going to be perfect. It's going to take some time. You don't want it to be perfect right now. You don't want to come out and, man, they're doing everything right against the teams that you're supposed to do everything right against. Like, you want to have
A little adversity.
some bumps to try to figure this thing out. Like, how do we move on? How do we get better from that? Why did it go wrong?
I would
Why
only
did
I
struggle?
would only really want it to really be perfect if you had a team that was kind of constructed like you had last year. There was a lot of veteran guys. There was a lot of guys who had been in this uniform before. There was a lot of guys who had played a lot of at-bats, a lot of innings, and been a lot of innings on the mound in this team before, and they were really, really, really – they're almost like unblemishably at the beginning of the year. I would want that kind of team to look like that at this point of the year.
Right.
This kind of team where there's new faces, there's young guys, there's portal guys, yeah, you got to get your feet wet. Got to kind of feel the feel around here and how you do it in this uniform, in this stadium, in this kind of pressure pack situation. And that's what you kind of saw, and that's what I kind of expected. You know, it wasn't going to be perfect, but you got through it with 4 wins. That says something itself.
Lloyd, do you have any questions from a fan's perspective from someone who did not see any games?
I was going to ask, biggest surprise.
Because it is Ask Mikey and Mitch.
It is. We have some questions that are coming in through the hopper. But I was going to say, biggest takeaway from the weekend, if you could name, like, or maybe biggest surprise from a player that you weren't expecting, like something like that, where you're like who I guess gave you like, oh, okay, that could be somebody that you can count on.
I got Milo. Like I heard the name before. I think we all heard the name before.
It was whispers.
Yeah, you heard whispers, and I think there may be something to his stature that makes you think, oh, he won't really be able to cut it here. But Man, you watch that guy play, it's going to be hard to keep that guy out of the lineup. It's going to be hard to keep that guy out of giving you professional at-bats from another position in that lineup every day. And if he can cut the mustard in the field, which I would expect he can, it's going to be really hard to keep him out the lineup. So he was one that was, for me, I needed to see it, and it's real.
And he played second for Pearson, or did they move Pearson to the outfield?
Pearson got moved to the outfield. He was in the outfield today, I believe. So he played right. Kling didn't start today, and Jake Brown started in center.
What were Kling's numbers?
I think he hit like 150 or 140 something, 143. I think he got a couple hits this weekend. He had a bases loaded double or runners on first and third double or something like that, 2-run double.
Made a hell of a play in the outfield.
Made a great play in the outfield.
In a tight game.
It was one weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just start like he can go 5 for 11 next weekend,
and you forgot all about it.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like that might be a missing piece to what, if you want or expect LSU to be able to make this back-to-back run, whatever, it feels like Kling has to kind of be a dude.
Yeah, you would think, right? Like you want him to be that. You need to have a dude in the outfield, right? Dudes in the outfield, right? And you want Paxton to be that guy because he's so talented, and I think he is going to be that guy. But Jake Brown stepping up. You have Mac Bingham, who's had a good weekend. He's the most experienced out of all the guys in the outfield. And you have Pearson, he's steady Eddie. He's going to do his thing. He didn't have a bunch of hits this weekend, but put together good at-bats. You're going to have opportunities. And so, yeah, you want those guys to be able to generate runs. The offense is going to generate runs a lot differently this year than it was last year.
Yeah.
Right? Look, Jared Jones got off to a good start, 3 homers. Tommy White's going to hit his, right? Travinsky's going to get his. But you're not going to have as much home run power throughout the lineup as you did last year.
Not even just so much home run power. Like, I think this pitching staff was constructed as if we were watching like the 2010, 2011 BB Core days, and you realize, hey, if we just score 1 run, we win. Like, that's what I feel like this pitching staff was constructed as. Like, they have that kind of ability to where they can go out and blank you. Now, look, you're not going to win any games with no runs on the board, so you obviously have to score.
Newsflash.
Yeah, you got to score.
You got to score to win.
You got to score, but my point is I think that this pitching staff is going to be one that keeps you in the game so long that I'm not sure you need to have an offense that's going to go out and do basically what you saw that offense do last year. Right? Like, I don't really think that that's what we're looking at. Now, obviously, it'd be great if you got that.
And that was an historic offense.
It was an historic offense. It'd be great if you got that. And obviously, when you get that, there is stars, like absolute stars up and down the lineup. I'm not saying you won't have any standout players. I'm not saying any players don't have to stand out. But I do think that this pitching staff staying healthy gives you so much more of a chance to win, I don't know, games where runs come at a premium, games where there's only 5 runs scored, 6 runs scored, 7 runs scored. I think this pitching staff gives you that much more of a chance, and we'll see. But I would expect someone like Paxton to show up and show out. And I'm not saying that he did this weekend. That's not what I'm saying. I would expect someone like Paxton to get comfortable, get hot, and get absolutely rolling, and that's what I'm looking for out of him.
Because it did feel like last year with the offense that they had, it was anybody can leave at any given moment. Like, you could have 2 outs, like you get 1 guy on base, 2 guys on base, like, all right, 3-run homer. And that's kind of what they did. They would eat you alive with the big swing. This feels like they're putting pressure on you throughout the lineup, where it's you're going to see 5 or 6 people in the lineup, as opposed to 1 swing gets you there, and then 3 outs, boom, it's done.
Right.
Like, it's a lot of putting pressure on you, running.
Well, they did all of that last year, and then they just broke your back with the 3-run homer.
Yeah.
So in a way,
go.
in a way, you kind of got to breathe easy after they did that. I'm not sure how many of those you'll get, but you may get the bleeding single right after, which keeps another 2 runners on base. Right? So that's kind of how this thing's going to go this year. And I say bleeding single. You might get the base clearing double. You might get something. I just don't think it's going to be as many long balls as you saw last year. But this team's doing teams last year, they did the same thing, man. They put together professional at bat after professional at bat. They broke your back, and then they got up and did it again after.
Yeah.
We'll see if this one's able to do it. I don't think it'll be to the tune as the same number as homers, but I do think you're going to see a team that's going to give you professional at bat and really become hard outs up there.
Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Like Bingham, I thought was super impressive for what he did. You knew what you were getting. What he bat 350 in his entire college career. He comes in and does the exact same thing. Like, all right, he's going to get on base. Pearson's going to get on base. Now you put in Monster, and it's like, all right, he puts the same amount of pressure on you.
You're going to get a couple guys that have the big home run numbers. You would imagine Tommy hopefully Jared Jones,
Travinsky,
but you're going to have a lot of the other guys. You may have a bunch of guys with 6 to 10 home runs, right? Like, because you're going to have a bunch of
40
guys.
doubles.
Well, not 40 doubles. I mean, if you hit 40 doubles in college, you're doing something.
Good God.
I mean,
56
you get to
games.
20 doubles, that's good. But you're going to have a bunch of guys that are going to get opportunities to play, right? Like Brady Neal, right? He's swinging the bat really well. He looked really good this weekend. Hit the grand slam. You could see him sneak 5, 6, 7, 8 home runs out there, right? You have Milam coming in. You have Pearson. I think that Bingham's going to get to double digits. I think that Jake Brown could potentially get to double digits. But, like, he's in that 6 to 10 range, right? So
Feels like everybody's a hard out.
you're going to have guys still. It's not just not, you're not going to hit 150 home runs or whatever you hit last year. It's just going to look differently. You're going to score runs. But to Jared's point, the pitching staff is what makes that feel more comfortable, right? Because you have guys out there. But back to your original question, who is a surprise? It's our guy Fidel. I mean, I saw him on the roster. I knew he was a pitcher.
Mustache.
Didn't know what to expect from him. Hadn't really heard. Hadn't really asked about him. All of a sudden, he gets put in 2 really big situations, and it was lights out. And I think that's a big surprise. Sam Dutton, too.
Surprise.
He threw the two games, too.
Respectfully,
games.
too, right? You just always want to see those guys who have been here a couple years and kind of, if you want, for lack of a better term, be buried a little bit in the depth, right? To actually, he's taken what seems to be another step, right? And if he continues to go out there and shut the door and throw up goose eggs like that, you can be like, good God, that's another one you can add into this equation as well. And like I said, it seems to be that this pitching staff is very, very, very deep and does not ask you to go out there and score 7 to 8 runs a night, which that could be very, very damaging for other teams trying to come in and play them.
You said you have some questions in the chat?
Absolutely. You want to get to a little Ask Mikey and Mitch? Continue to send them in.
Please.
We have a couple coming up. Give me 1 second to put a little bed music underneath.
Is there a reason why you wore the camo hoodie?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you prepare? Did you have enough? Were you prepared as far as clothes go?
Now, whose clothes did you wear?
This is Leday's.
Did you bring your ski outfits?
I did. Didn't touch the bag.
Didn't think that you would.
I took my first shower this morning.
I was gonna say it was so cold that you probably didn't even have to.
Well, the shower didn't.
No,
work.
you should. You should wash your. Yeah.
Shower didn't work.
Shower didn't work. There's nobody.
How many guys
Nobody
are there?
to wash for.
How many guys are there?
What you mean nobody to wash for yourself, you slob?
How many?
10.
So 10 guys are in the houseboat.
Uh-huh.
Not the
and
RV.
then the RV. Like 2 people took the RV and they're like, no, we love it in here.
Oh, I would have been in the RV, no doubt.
I was
without a doubt.
Air Mattress King. That's where I went.
How many rooms were in the houseboat? 2?
Two
Bunk
with the living room upstairs, and then like a living area, like a living room, and somebody
A living
called the
room
couch.
upstairs.
No, there was 2 rooms upstairs that had.
Oh, there's an upstairs in the houseboat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the double deck joint, huh?
Uh-huh. Wow. Had the couple bunk beds.
Yeah, it's a bunk rooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
The race car bunk bed?
No TV in there, so a lot of conversation going to bed. Like kind of had to entertain.
Yeah, but say at bedtime, like they got no TV going. Well, we just got dudes
Sometimes
playing
that's fun. Y'all
cornhole
play
and
cards?
cards
Y'all do
while
anything?
it's.
Yeah, we did cards.
What'd y'all play?
A little poker. I didn't play poker, never do. And then we played a little in between, a little high low. Great game.
AC Doocy.
Yeah, somebody came away with $110. Wasn't me. They wouldn't let me play.
Y'all played Jen? I mean,
Boo-ray.
Boo-ray.
Yep, and they did that. I'm not a big card guy.
Love cards.
And then the toughest part was the going to bed with probably 6 people in a room that are all shit-faced, and you're like kind of laughing, then you're kind of fighting. It was very.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Not exactly white noise trying to go to bed. It's pretty loud in there, huh?
Yeah, that's what it was. So it was not a lot of sleep.
Did y'all catch any fish?
Did you
To be
touch a
determined.
fishing pole?
No.
Like, did you look at one?
Yeah, I saw a couple. I have the picture.
A couple.
Did you bait a hook?
Hell no. That's kind of my deal. Is
Did you put your
bait?
finger in the water, check the
Oh,
temperature?
you don't do anything.
I don't do anything.
You
I'd
just
love
drink.
to catch a fish. Yeah. I'm there for more support.
Okay. Let's
So,
bring some questions.
it was good. It was not as bad as I maybe set it out to be. Mistake
Listen to
today.
me.
We'll go to your cousin. We'll do that a little bit later.
Okay.
Absolutely, just left me in the fucking wind.
Right, had left early because that didn't work out the way he anticipated it.
No, it did not. All right.
Snooze, you lose, Lloyd.
I was not snoozing. I was being very
You're actually on
proactive.
time, actually.
And I didn't
For
want
the
to
first
leave.
time in your life.
Yep. Well, today.
Yeah.
All right. First
right.
question up. John Cuban says.
Mark's brother?
That's spelled
Oh,
differently.
it's spelled differently.
Can Milan play short instead of Braswell? Ask him. These are going to be some of these that are going to be very reactionary to what you saw this weekend, but
So he was a shortstop in high school.
yes.
I'd imagine he can play shortstop. Can he? I don't think that you need to move him to short over Braswell. I think Braswell played fine defensively. It was one weekend. You've got to let that thing play out. You can't be so reactionary and say he's not good at short or can't hit. Because I think Braswell was fine defensively at shortstop. So he can play, but I would hold off on saying moving Braswell out of short for right now.
I'd even go this far. Braswell's played years in the SEC as a shortstop and has been fine. As far as for defensively, right? What we're trying to do is trying to see if we can get an upgrade from his bat. I don't think you can rightfully judge that in a 3 or 4 game span, right? Give it some time. Let some at bats get under their belt. Let's see if we can actually get this thing going. I think there's a real reason as to why Jay started him there and has had him there from the start. So I would believe in that and kind of trust to see this thing go forward. But I think he'll be fine.
If we're gonna move somebody to shortstop, I say move somebody. Milam's not the guy. They have a freshman. I don't want to mispronounce his last name. His name is Kucherak. I think is his last name.
Yeah, Kucherak.
He apparently is really good defensively at shortstop. Now he's a freshman. So, I think that if they were going to give somebody else an opportunity at short, it may be him, but I don't think we're at that point at all.
No, it's been 4 games.
Yeah, it's been 4 games.
All right, next one up. I'm going to keep, there's a couple of them that have nothing to do with baseball. I'll keep those for the end. I'm going to get into the baseball ones now.
I like that. It doesn't always have to be about sports.
Anything.
Yeah, this is an open forum.
Next one up.
To an extent.
Yeah, well, depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
I'll give you everything I got. Ask him and him. Do y'all see Fidel setting into a closer role? 2-pitch guy, but he mixes speeds well and seems to be able to locate effectively for Mr. Walking Man.
I said it once again. I think Gavin's bulldog mentality kind of gives you the opportunity. You saw it last year when we asked him to close. Sometimes meant coming out with 1 out in 7, right? I think that mentality that he has of knowing I'm just going to get outs and I don't really give a damn who it is or what inning it is and how it is. I'm shutting the door right here. I think that mentality for him allows you to be able to pitch him anywhere you want, and it allows the door to open up to someone else who can actually come in and close the door as well. So I think it kind of shortens the game for your team, for your starters, honestly, and gives you a better feeling of how we can actually piece together the back end of a game. So, yeah, can he close? We'll see. I do think he has the opportunity, but I think it's because you have someone who is, quote-unquote, a closer right now who understands I can go get the job done at any point, and maybe we don't have to stretch him out as far as we had to a year ago.
I agree. I think Uloa could settle into a closing role. I think that Jay's obviously confident throwing him out there. We saw with Gavin Guidry, he already came in. He came in the 6th or whenever it was through an inning and a third.
High leverage spot, right?
That's the guy. Get us out of trouble, guy. Whenever it is, trouble could be in the 4th, 5th, 7th, 10th, 12th, whenever it is. He's the guy. First guy out of the bullpen whenever things are in trouble. You go to him, and then you have the luxury of having multiple guys that you can put in the back. Sam Dutton, obviously, I keep saying him, but he looks really good. I mean, his velo has ticked up. He's got the stuff. I know he mentioned he's a two-pitch guy. As a closer, as a reliever, all you need to do is a 2-pitch guy. That's why a lot of starters who are good in college, go to pro ball, only have 2 really good pitches, and they don't make it as a starter, but they're elite relievers.
Back end guys.
Right? And so you only need two good pitches. And I think he's shown early on Jay's shown early on that he's confident putting him in that situation.
Yeah, I think you can just go ahead and label Gavin Guidry like a stopper, not a closer. Like anytime you need, like, oh shit, get a little tight, like Gavin, get up, get loose, get going.
You know who he reminds me of? Not pitching style, but like how they use him is how the Brewers used Hader, their lefty. I know you don't like baseball, so I don't know if you know.
No, I hate Hader because he's a Cub killer.
Yeah, he's nasty, right? The lefty kind of slings it, but They'll throw Hader in the 6th. They'll throw Hader in the 7th. They'll throw him in the 8th. They'll close him. And then it got even better once they had Devin Williams, who they could use as a closer.
And I think right now he's one of the highest paid relievers, too, in the league as well.
Right. So I think that's the type of role that you're going to see from Gavin Guidry this year.
All right. Continue with the pitching staff from Star with 2 R's. Asks, thoughts about Aiden Moffitt?
3rd inning, looked really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the pitch.
Heavy ball.
It was 27-5 when he came in. But he got his work in. And I will argue throwing in a 27-5 game is harder than throwing in a tight game sometimes. Because the game's out of hand.
No. The game's not out of hand. The game had been out of hand for years.
The game's over.
That's really hard to come in and do well
And
at
lock
that
it
point.
in.
Yeah.
Right. Especially as a guy who, as a reliever, you're used to coming in higher leverage situations. The pitch that he struck the last guy out, the end of the game, it moved this much, and it came back over the plate for strike 3. And, yes, I'm very excited about that because that is – you have a guy that has elite fastball velocity with elite movement. As long as he can fill up the strike zone and be consistent with that, I think he's going to be a factor.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like you've been kind of quietly excited about Moffitt.
Me
Every
too.
time.
He hasn't been that quiet. He's been pretty loud about it, which is
It's
fine.
not on the show. It's very
because
much off here.
But he showed up. But he showed up well. But nah, man, I agree.
He has no
man.
strikes.
If he's throwing strikes, that's another guy where you're good God, when does it stop back there?
And that's 100.
Yeah, when does it stop back there?
Yeah, because I feel like he's got something that nobody else has. When you talk about touching triple digits.
The only person who's got, better than that he's just not going to pitch this year
What are you trying to say?
is who's the guy who got Tommy John?
That's what I was trying to say.
Who's the guy who got Tommy John?
Newt?
No. Big 6'10" guy, 9 guy.
Chase.
Shores.
Yes, Shores. He's the only one that has 100-mile-an-hour sinkers.
Yeah. It goes this way.
That moves a ton. Aiden has a tick underneath that, but nasty. So yes.
All right, next one up from Nolan Harville. Send to the queue. He asks Mikey and Mitch, what does Kling need to do to be more aggressive, make more contact?
Have more at bats. That simple. Really that simple. What do you? He doesn't
Bigger
have that many at
sample
bats.
size.
There was a stretch last year where we were God damn, he's the hottest kid on the team and he's hammering the ball. Give him some time, fellas. Give him some time. He needs to have more bats. That's all he needs to do. Everybody knows the potential that he has and the ability that's there. He needs more bats.
What do you have? 12 at bats, 14 at bats, whatever it was.
That's the wrong guy.
You got to give. That was rhetorical.
Yeah.
You got to give him some time. Listen, you got fast starters, you got slow starters. I was notoriously a slow starter. That was what it just took. You have to get sometimes it takes someone to get in a rhythm and get his timing down and
Get a little pissed off or
yeah,
whatever it may
fine.
be.
Yeah. I'm not to answer that I can't give you an in-depth answer on that because it's just too early. I don't know. We haven't seen enough from him this year to say, he's struggling. It's just one weekend.
From anyone.
Right, from anyone.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Phil Smith asked Mikey and Mitch, who helped their chances and who hurt their chances for starting roles. I don't know if he's going full lineup or pitching, but the floor is yours.
Milam. See, Milam helped himself.
Yeah.
Obviously. He swung it well. He continued to put himself in. Jake Brown helped himself. I think he just further justified Jay's decision to start him as a freshman. I think that you are going to see Cade Anderson get more run in the rotation. Yeah. You have another 4-game series, so I'd imagine he's probably going to get the start next Sunday as the 4th starter, I would imagine. So, yeah, those guys for me, Brady Neal looked really good at the plate.
I'm going to name one name instead of everyone who did good so Mikey can kind of cop himself out that way by not naming.
Well, you said who helped their chances.
I'm going to go with Brady Neal because I think that was one that we, as shitty as it may be, because of the field general that Milazzo is, because of the absolute hammer of a bat that Travinsky is, we kind of saw, for some reason, Brady as a third. Well, Brady's telling us all shut up right now, right? And he's making us all also remember that he was the guy that was getting all the run last year until he started to get hurt last year.
Right.
So I think he's one that you got to watch because
The kid's got ability. He's a good player. He's in a crowded room, but talent always rises when it's on the field. So he's one that you should watch, and I completely believe in Milazzo, and I understand what he can do. I completely believe in Travinsky and understand what he can do. But once again, when someone gets in there and they continuously give you very, very quality at-bats, it's hard to not find a spot for those guys on the field.
Agreed.
All right, next one up. As we go back to the questions, ask Mikey and Mitch from Fred Sebrin.
What up, Fred?
What up, Fred?
What up, Fred?
If you had to guess right now,
Whoa.
what does your starting rotation look like at Mississippi State?
At Mississippi State. Wow, that's an aggressive guy.
Wow.
I told you
That's
people
what,
are gonna
4
shoot.
weeks?
Is that the opening? Is that the opening SEC
that's-
weekend?
Yeah, that's
I would
what,
imagine, right?
4 weeks away, or is it? Is that opening SEC weekend?
Either way. All right. I'll go with this. I still think you have Thatcher. I still think you have Hurd. I mean, Holman,
it is opening.
Thatcher, Holman, and what's going to be very, very, very. This is hard to tell, and I reason why I say this is because we don't know where health and how they choose to bring them along. But I think you could either get Gage Jump or the freshman lefty, Anderson, at that point. Now, with that also being said, God, who am I forgetting? There's a sneaky arm that I think they're going to actually enjoy seeing, and he may be one of those like first guys out of the pen on Friday or Saturday. But why am I blanking?
Griffin
right now?
Herring?
No.
Javen Coleman?
No. Why am I blanking right now? Boy, this is bad. It's not good.
I wish
Jump?
I could. He already said jump. I
No.
wish I could get you out of this. I don't know who you're thinking of though.
Who threw today? Coleman, right?
No.
Not Coleman. I'm sorry. Anderson.
Kate Anderson threw today.
Kate Anderson.
Cade Anderson's the name.
Yeah. No, but I already said him. I said either him or Gage Jump on Sunday. It just depends on if they're ready to bring him along and actually give him that kind of extended outings. If they're ready to give him that kind of extended outings yet, or I'm drawing a blank. Just
It's okay. He'll come back. He'll come back. To
or if it's they want to go with the younger guy and keep him kind of reserved a little bit. I think at that point, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one because you're gonna have a lot of hurdles before then, which is good. But I kind of agree with Jared. I think that it'll be Thatcher and Holman.
Do you think
For
they
sure.
flip?
I don't know if they flip or not, but it'll be those two guys. And it's going to be a lefty, I believe, as that third starter. And I think there's 4 lefties that you could probably put in that role. Griffin Herring, Javen Coleman, who started the third game, Cade Anderson, and Gage Jump. I don't know if Jay is going to be completely comfortable yet by then to throw Gage Jump in the starting rotation. I think he will eventually be a starter. But I think if I had to pick, I'm going with Cade Anderson. Based off what I saw today, I'm going with him in that weekend as the third starter.
Next one up from Michael Roby. Little shots fired. That's okay. Ask him any news
Shots
on
fired.
remodeling the box.
Shots fired on
Chairbacks
him.
would be good instead of the cold ass aluminum bleachers.
That's a shot.
That's the shot.
Yep. There's, no new news. I know that it's in the works and it's on the horizon. I would imagine that this summer you probably see something happening out there. I don't know about the chairbacks. I don't know any of the details. I'm not privy to that
What, sitting
until
in the chairbacks?
until I have the conversation. I don't just get told, oh, this was going to happen. I
Oh,
gotta,
by the way, Mikey.
I got to pry for that information sometimes. But I would imagine over the summer you're going to start seeing some movement.
I mean, they had a lot to do this summer with updating the Intimidator after a national championship.
You're going to see the hitter's eye changed. You're going to see the bullpens moved. And you're going to see
a pool.
that's not what you're going to see.
No.
Jay didn't want that thing to be completely not completely out of, but so out of commission to where it was hard to actually hone in on what they were trying to do on the field this year. And obviously none of that was going to be green lighted right when the season ended or right when regionals and or super regionals ended last year. So I think that was probably more of the holdup last year. I think there's probably going to be a chance for that construction or those changes to happen right after the home slate is finished this year. That's where I think it should be.
Yeah, I think those conversations started last year. Right? Like, hey, we need this. And they said, okay, this is what we need to do to get it. And then by the time they figured it out, he's like, all right, it's too close. I don't want to have this going on.
You don't want a Vanderbilt situation for football.
Yeah. And so he was like, I'll wait. And so I would imagine that they probably have a game plan going forward to the summer. And like, okay, whenever the season ends, this is when we start. I think you're eventually going to see the indoor being redone, made bigger, and have like an indoor infield in there as well for weather whenever. Like Arkansas has it.
Retractable roof.
No, that'd be sick, but not retractable.
Walkway bridge.
Yeah. Now you are gonna have. I think they're gonna try to cover a walkway from the dugout. I mean, from the locker room all the way to the cages, though.
They need that.
They definitely need.
They really do need that.
Yeah.
All right. A couple people were trying to help you out, Jay Mitch, while you fumbled through that of what pitcher you were trying to name.
Okay.
Lauer?
No. I think he's right in a good spot where he's at right now.
Ackenhausen.
I mean, that's definitely one that could probably sneak in there because of the lefty thing, because of his ability to be stretched out.
They're trying to nail the, they're trying to nail down the guy you're thinking of.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it. I might have been thinking of an infielder.
Primo? No.
Possibly. I think the lefty thing's big though. I think they really want that in there. So.
All right. Ask him at from Fonz, our guy. Did the bet show more than you thought they would?
I think they showed exactly what I thought they were going to show.
Pretty much exactly what I thought. I said, I believe, once again, they were going to be another group of very, very, very tough outs, gritty outs. Guys are going to fight you tooth and nail. I just wasn't sure, and I still don't think it's going to be that, just because of not even gauging it so much off of who's on the roster, but because of what left the roster. I just think it's going to be hard to find that kind of top-end power producing on this team because you don't have that kind of experience on this team.
Yeah, I think they showed exactly what I thought it would. I was looking forward to every year, opening weekend, you have somebody that does something that you weren't expecting them to do, right? And I was just curious to see who that was going to be, and it was Milam, obviously, for us, offensively.
Or Neal.
Yeah, but like you saw Neal have some spurts last year. You had no idea what to expect from Milam.
Right.
He comes out and does it. So, like, I think he may have showed me more than I thought just because I had no idea what to think. But as an offensive as a whole, I thought it was pretty on par for what I anticipated for the first weekend, especially with some difficult hitting conditions.
Yeah.
Next
Next one up from Thomas D. Thomas D says, Judy Center 5 guys.
I mean, I'm going Judy Center 5 guys, which is, you ever had Judy Center in Lafayette, the burger place?
Not a French fry place.
I don't
Not
think
French
I have.
fry. I kind of like that.
I don't think I have. I think
That's so
I've
Lafayette.
heard of it, but I don't think I've actually had it.
They're tiny little burgers.
Listen, I love 5 guys.
When was the last time you had it?
Oh, I'm not.
When's the last time you had 5 guys?
A couple months ago. Every now and then, Allie kind of likes it. So every now and then,
Oh, she likes 5 guys.
she likes 5 guys. Every now and then we'll get, maybe 3 months ago. Judy Sin. I'm gonna go with Judy Sin. I'm not. I can't. It's blasphemy.
Yeah, that is blasphemy.
It's blasphemy if I don't.
Have you ever done?
I haven't had Judy Sin in a minute though.
Have you ever done? Do you go egg on the burger?
Oh yeah, I'll go egg on the burger with double cheese. I like the egg. I used to go toast.
Oh, really?
Fire move. Yeah. So all my best friends, or 3 of my best friends growing up, used to work there.
Oh, so
And
you're
so that
getting
was-
back
Why
to
you didn't
our-
work there then?
I didn't work, coach.
I got this baseball thing. I'm trying to work.
They're in college. So like when they got out of high school, that was their college job. They were at UL, and they made good money,
Slinging
dude.
burgers.
Like you manage, if you manage, like you make some good money. Good money.
Managed at Nighttown.
No.
I had a couple of friends that.
You manage at Nighttown?
No,
Lloyd
not
was a
me.
bouncer at Nighttime.
Yeah. I
The
did get
pub?
almost arrested at Nighttown.
Marley's, Legends,
Marley's Legends.
The
got-
Office, City Bar.
You're in-
Office and City Bar aren't there anymore.
I don't think so. And
City Bar for sure.
one of our friends from Alexandria, my brother's roommate, was the guy at the pub.
The guy.
The guy. He DJ'd, slang drinks,
Probably, yeah.
married a bartender, all of
Nice.
that. The quintessential college story, just how you
Nice.
drew it up.
That's just how you want to do
Buckshot his first year, just 0.0 GPA. It was like,
Wow.
that's almost, and
it. Wow.
not one.
That's
not
hard
one class.
to do.
Yeah.
A zero GPA is hard to do.
Very hard. That's tough.
That's just
not
going
a
to
very
school.
tough semester because you obviously didn't care.
That's
but
just
it's
not going to
tough.
class at all.
No, he's working at the pub. It's like,
and
this is
just
my
didn't
future.
take tests, like missed tests.
Missed everything.
0 points.
I really do think I could not.
I'd have so much anxiety doing that.
I really do think. I know for a fact I could not show up for a class and just show up for the test and make better than the 0 points.
Yeah. No, yeah, you gotta get one right.
No doubt.
On a semester, like
Honestly,
I'm getting something right.
I could show up for every class and miss every test.
I'm getting something right.
And get better than a 0.0.
I think the plan maybe was I'm not gonna go to class. I will go for the test, but then that kind of fell by the wayside once he wasn't going to class. Like, this isn't going. What's the point? And he just kind of gave it up.
I don't think that's what I don't think what you're supposed to do when you sign up for college. I think.
Wow, look at this question.
Ask Mikey and Mitch. One team at LSU you would want with you in a fight.
No. Jared's unfair because Jared had football too.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk for Jared. I'll let him go first because I know who I would pick on the football
Buzzy
team.
Heidel.
No. You go.
On the football team.
Sean.
On the football team. Yeah, that's a good one.
Only because I know he punched a hole through someone's face at the bar.
Got to see it happen. Time to go.
I mean, everybody knew about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
George Jefferson.
When I showed up as a freshman, just what I saw of it as a freshman, I'm like, yeah, man, he not right in the head. I'm not messing with him. Give me LaRon.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me LaRon.
Wait, LaRon got a ton of run on McAfee the other day.
Did he?
Yeah, because they were talking.
He's on
about,
steroids.
Yeah, they're just like, we had a teammate, and he's like, I mean, not gonna say his name. Great human being, but it was pretty obvious what he was like. He just didn't care.
Hey, when I showed up
like 4 times,
I was like, don't have to say his name. Great human being. Might have been on something.
Maybe. You know what? Honestly,
Buzzy.
No. And this, I think that if my friends are listening, which they're probably not listening to the show, but they'd agree with me. If I had to pick a guy, I only got to play with him for 1.5 years because he transferred out. If I got in a fight and I had to pick one guy, Chris Matulis.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember Chris Matulis. He was 6'6" lefty. He actually married my cousin out in.
Chris wasn't scared of a fight.
He grew up with 5 brothers who were all bigger than him.
And he's big.
And he's a big dude, right? I've seen Chris get in a couple scuffles. I'd feel confident with him on my side, for sure.
He wasn't afraid of a fight.
No.
Do you think any of your teammates would pick you?
I could hold my own. I just wasn't a guy who was going to go out there and like.
You weren't looking for it.
No.
Wait.
I think some guys maybe. I think a couple guys maybe would pick me, but I would pick me.
I was told a story this weekend that you did cold cock somebody that came up to you. This is when you were in college, and he was like, "I'm going to go pick a fight with Mikie Mahtook," and we're like, "You probably shouldn't." Is it JL's? Do you remember this?
I don't remember this.
Well,
I remember the story. I remember hearing about this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't know this?
Yeah.
A story that I punched somebody in the face?
Yeah. He was like, he wanted to fight you. And you're like, dude, no. And you're like, okay. And you hit him once.
Yep, this the one I remember hearing. This the one I remember hearing. Yep, Mikey was out there just punching people in the face.
I don't remember that. I think that maybe.
Small guy that was balding and pale, and he was like, this is my chance, dude.
I think it's a folklore tale.
I need to.
You gotta give me the name of the person who gave
you didn't know him.
Well, the name of the person who gave you the story.
I think you know him pretty well.
Well, you gotta tell me after the show. You don't out anybody on the show.
Oh, it's Robert.
Robert said that?
Yeah.
My cousin?
Don't out anyone on the show. It's Robert.
I don't know if it was like.
So he was friends with Robert?
Yeah.
If y'all got secrets,
so he was
don't
friends
give
with
him
my
the load.
cousin, and he told my cousin he was gonna pick a fight with me.
He's like, that's Mahtook. I'm gonna go give him some shit. And then he was like, dude, you probably shouldn't. Like, Mikey's pretty nice, but if you really do something, he might fight you.
Well, at least it was good. At least I didn't get my ass beat.
No, I don't remember.
I don't think
he didn't get a.
That's the story I remember hearing. Yep, that's the one.
I remember that.
Mikey
I'll
out there
plead
just
the fifth on
punching
that.
people.
I'm not a fighter.
JL's wine night. That's a night for love. Instead, you chose violence.
I thought I saw a girl kill herself on accident. She was on the stool. She was hammered, and the stool fell, and she went back, and it sounded like a gunshot went off with her head, and she popped straight up.
Like $1 million baby?
Like a
And
zombie.
I'm like, oh my god, and she just jumped back up, and like, look, I'm like,
right back
you
to dancing.
definitely have a concussion.
Bottom jeans. She went right back to it.
Whoa. Too low.
I mean, I was like, oh my God, she just.
She's dead.
I mean, she just. I'm talking about.
What did it sound like when her head hit the ground?
Bro. It was like, you know, how like when you get that little like.
Give me like a
little recoil.
What? Yeah. So they got down it to get me.
I mean, it was wild, and she got back up.
That's the best.
She got back up.
All right.
Wow, what a story! I didn't even know about that.
In the same vein, from Tommy D. Toughest, least favorite opponents for both of you in high school.
In high school?
It's got to be a guy, one name, one pitcher that you're like, oh, I don't know why. Below the hitting speed.
No, it'd be above the hitting speed in high school.
Yeah.
Someone who could throw hard.
Mine was a state championship my freshman year. We faced.
Weren't you like 14?
By that time, I was.
Well, freshman
yeah,
year,
I was
yeah,
14. Yeah.
No, 13.
No, I was 14 by that time. Yeah. But my freshman year in high school state championship, we faced Josh Rainwater, who was at DeRitter High School, ended up being a draft pick, played a couple years, I think, with the Tigers and pro ball. But faced him that year in the state championship, I was like, oh, that was pretty good. I don't know what that was, but that's pretty good. Kept me from winning the championship. That's pretty good. That'd be the one.
Mine. I got two. First one, out of Baton Rouge, Parkview Baptist, Forrest Moore. No. Yeah, Forrest Moore. Lefty from Parkview.
Oh, yeah.
Went to Mississippi State.
I faced Forrest like in tournament ball over the summers. I never faced him in actual high school.
I faced him in high school, and it was like 93 from the left side, and I was like, damn, this is real. Like, this is – like, he's painting the inside corner at 93. Like, he's doing things that I was like, okay, this is – you know, I haven't really seen this much, especially from the left side. And then my first – I don't remember his first name. His last name was Simpson, I believe. Played for a team out of North Louisiana. I was a freshman, and we're in the playoffs. And I was playing – and I was starting in the playoffs in right field. And this dude was front hip slidering me all day and hadn't seen that. I was like –
and you was running back in the dugout.
I was like, what is happening? He was throwing 90-92, and he was throwing front hip sliders to me. And granted, this was 08, right? So 90-92, or not 08, this was 05 or 06. So 90-98, 90-92 was hard back then. It wasn't like everybody throwing 100 now. 90-92 was hard, and he was throwing these front hip sliders like, I don't know what to do with this. I've never seen this before in my life.
Who throws these? This is
I was like, okay, I got some work to do, for sure. I wish I knew his first name, but I don't. I think he got drafted.
All right.
Is that it? A couple more good ones, and then we're going to go do these swing breakdowns.
Kenneth Bilala. Coming in town on Wednesday, going to try his Dozy place.
Yeah.
Any recommendations for any other place before and after basketball games?
Man, there's a bunch of recommendations.
But Doze
is in there. Like, that's on there.
And he just wants for lunch, right?
I'd imagine.
Gotta get the burger.
Phil's is good.
Phil's is good, yeah.
Phil's is good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good spots. It's just hard to, you don't have that much time. Where else would you recommend?
Phil's. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. Just drop in the Doze and get you a burger. Man.
Yeah.
Like,
don't overthink it.
Like, don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
You can only visit one, so I'm just going to tell you, go ahead and get the best burger in town.
Yep. No doubt. I'm with you. Yep.
Okay. From Fred. Zebra. Are y'all going to be in Houston? If so, any pregame festivities?
We will not.
We will not
be in Houston. We will be having our show from here and at regular scheduled hours. So I do enjoy Houston. I've never been to that tournament as a fan. I've actually never been to a tournament, period, because we didn't play in those things. I would like to go, but as of now, we have no plans of being in Houston. And that's
Last
it.
One.
Oh, we have one more?
One more. The baseball one to cap it off. Given that LSU has Florida, Tennessee, Vandy, and Arkansas in their first 5 weekends, how important is winning the first one at Mississippi State?
They're all important. Every weekend series in the SEC is important. You can't put one above the other because the minute you do that, last year we put so much emphasis on the first half of the season. Everybody's like, oh, the back half of the SEC is the easier part of it. And that was the time you slipped up the most. You lost 2 weekend series in a row. So you can't overlook Mississippi State, obviously. They're all hard, and listen, 2 out of 3 is the move. You win 2 out of 3, that's the main goal. Get 2 wins out of the weekend. Don't worry about sweeps. It'd be nice to get them, but yeah.
I don't want to go coach speak, but it's important to win as many games as you can in the SEC because you just never know who gets hot towards the back end, right? Like in 2008, my second year at LSU, going into the last month of the season, we were the 11th place team. I would imagine that there was probably a couple teams that looked at us on the schedule and said, they're not doing very well. We should win this series. We went on to win. We went on to sweep that entire month, right? So you just never know who's going to get hot. So it's very important to start off well because you don't know who's going to get hot, number one. And 2, you don't know who's going to stay healthy on your team. So you don't know who you may be without, right? So you can't overlook anyone in this league because anyone in this league can step up and bite you in the ass. Right? It's a very, very strong league. There's a whole lot of competition. So once you get into it, you take every one of them as if it's your World Series because you need every single one of those games. Just that simple.
Yep. I mean, look what happened with South Carolina last year. Didn't even get to play. And that turned out to be a
big game. What did we say? Whenever the game got rained out, I said this is going to come back at the end of the year and it's going to make the decision on who wins the SEC or who ties the SEC or doesn't win it.
And that's when Jay became obsessed with the weather.
Yep. And that wasn't his choice then. They didn't want to play.
No.
But
that's okay.
It worked out.
It all worked out.
That's all we got for Ask Mikey and Mitch on this beautiful Monday night. Ask Mikey and Mitch is brought to you by our friends at Heineken. Heineken season's right around the corner. Listen, our guy with the funnel is back. He sent us a funnel chug.
Oh, did he?
Yep, of when Jared Jones hit the first homer. But Heineken's it's light beer,
very
95
chuggable.
calorie. Could you get in trouble? Very good. It's very good tailgating beer, which in I guess 4 weeks we'll have our first tailgate. We'll pub it a lot more than we did last year. We're ready. I got a parking pass. I have the tents. I'm ready. Hot Rod will come and do our food.
There we go.
Yeah, we're ready. We're just gonna get there. We'll have some Heineken Silver on ice. 95 calories, 4% alcohol, very easy to drink. Going to last you throughout the whole course of the tailgating weekend.
Experience.
Yep.
There's some rumors going around from some of your family about maybe party box experience.
What?
Mm-hmm. It's just rumblings.
For us?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, I haven't heard those rumblings.
No. A little birdie.
Can the party box make it there? They're hopefully working on getting a new one.
I've heard that for 15 years.
No. This one's we have a commercial, national commercial that, depending on how much the residuals get us, could be a new RV in the horizon here soon.
Oh, that would be weird.
I was not in the commercial, but my family had one.
Family.
It doesn't matter. It's all for that. It's all for
a good cause.
Good cause.
All right. Swinging.
Swings. Swings. All right, who are you throwing up for there first? Now, look, if y'all hate what we're doing,
people love this. I'm telling you.
Talk shit to us in the chat. I'm good with it. But I think this is good. I think it'll gives a lot of some people some insight onto what to look for and also kind of what goes into a swing. I'm by no means a hitting coach. Like I'm not trying to hey, send your kid to me. I'm not doing lessons. Jared does though.
Wow, that's aggressive.
You do, right?
I don't know about all that.
Phone's about to start.
I like to help.
Help.
Let's give it that.
So I like baseball. I like good swings, and we can talk it through.
Okay, we have a choice of Travinsky, Neal, Monster, and Tommy. Who do you want to go with first? I feel like Monster maybe just because.
Let's do Travinsky first.
Okay, let's do Travinsky first.
Let's go with it.
Because this one I liked a lot.
Cool. I haven't seen this yet.
Off the scoreboard, Coach.
Can you just back that up to contact?
Yeah, let me get the
slow-mo.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
First of all,
elite.
No, keep going. Just go get the contact first. We'll back it up from the start, but I want to be able to show this too. I love being able to talk about stuff like this.
God, it's so good.
So
man.
that's a little further than contact.
Yeah, I just missed it.
Did you get back
Stop.
on it?
Toe touch. Oh my God, it's so good.
Can you go one more frame? Is that
Let me
possible?
slow it down just a touch.
And for those of y'all looking at it saying, "Oh, he's not squishing the bug,"
Damn
stop.
that bug.
Ain't no bug.
That's called rotation.
The back foot off the ground is awesome. If you go look at any elite hitter in the big leagues, that is what happens. They're going through the baseball, back foot comes off of the ground. This is
Lloyd,
unbelievably amazing.
can you go one more frame or no?
yeah.
Oh, you missed it. One more back.
That was 2 frames, so just one more frame.
It's up to the computer sometimes.
No, you got the finger on it.
Stop. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. So
Wow.
here's what I first love about this, because I love when people try to tell you got to go down and get the low ball, right? Like this ball's right at probably the top of the kneecap. There's no going down to go and get that. Understand that barrel, balls that are low, your barrel is going to be basically vertical to the ground. Because if I told you to stand there with both hands kind of straight down in front of you and both hands on the bat, and then you tell me how low the actual sweet spot, the barrel of the bat reaches, it's going to be probably to about mid-shin. So the people that think like, hey, these low balls, I need to take the bat straight down to it and basically leave my backside and go get it, you're wrong. This is a guy hitting a ball off the scoreboard on a low ball. How does he do that? It's by understanding how to use your backside and understanding that the bat path is going to have to take, and that there is way more barrel to it than you actually think. Almost kind of think of it this way. It's not really the same thing, but when I stand up there and I play golf, right, the sweet spot of the golf club is touching the ground, right? If I put my bat down and I'm holding my bat like I would hold a golf club, where's the sweet spot of my bat? It's going to be mid-shin-ish, right? That's about how much coverage you actually have, and people don't understand that. My swing doesn't change because the ball's low. I just got to let it get a little deeper, and I got to understand how to still take that same path inside of that same pitch.
No doubt. Go back to it.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. What happened?
I'm getting y'all set up in the corner.
We give you all this time.
No time at all. I forgot that I did this last time. All right, 1 second. Yes. This is easier. Looks better. Okay. Merge.
Well, okay, I need you to go back.
I am.
Okay.
And then stop at the right.
Actually, stop. Okay.
Things still
Oh, no, I was
beating.
getting rid of the. Okay.
I don't need you to stop at contact. Stop right there.
Right here. Boom.
Okay.
Now, I'm about to say, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So you talked, and I want to get to your point about getting down to a low pitch, right? But we talk about separate. You can go one more click, actually. Oh, backwards again. When is
Tell me when.
no? Well, it's a little okay. We'll go from there. Stop. So, 2 clicks before when he landed, the first time he had toe touch, we talked about last week. We wanted to see a lot of, almost call it like a scap load, right? Where you wanted to see where he landed. You didn't want to see him moving his hands or pushing his hands backwards or bringing his hands with him, right? You wanted to see his body going forward, his hands staying still with kind of that rubber band effect, right? Travinsky gets that on this. Now, this is obviously 2 clicks when he's starting his swing, but when you get to this point, your first motion cannot be this way, right? Like, it can't be around with your shoulder. Your first motion needs to be this way, right? Like, you're trying to bring that elbow into the slot.
Stop, Lloyd. So, and now that he's put into that point, see, this is where it becomes tricky at, which a lot of people don't like.
He's still loaded up in that hip, too.
Yeah, and this is why the foundation is so important to me. So a lot of people, what Mikey's talking about is awesome, and that's where really I would love to see every single hitter get is you actually loading that and using that as much as you can and creating as much of a rubber band as you can. Here's where it becomes not fair and where it becomes different for guys who hold a lot of mass and or hold a lot of length. And what I mean by mass is you weigh a lot, you as a person. What I mean by length is you have very long limbs and possibly even may weigh a lot as well. Stand next to Hayden Travinsky. That is a large man. To where what I'm saying is when you watch him now, there's more that he could be doing. There's more that he can be rubber band create wise, like upper half. But guess what? Because of the mass, because of how unbelievably sound his lower half is and how he's using it and how there's no drift and how he is literally connected all the way until he pulls this trigger and stays connected through the swing, is why he's able to do what he does with not even using the upper half as much as he needs to, because he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Because he's that big, he's that strong, and he's that connected and that grounded with his base already.
Well, he doesn't need to use it because you said it's grounded with his base. You're going to get most of your pop from your lower half, right? Which we all know. And when he starts to swing, keep going a little bit more. More. Stop. So you see the gap between the bat and his back shoulder. You see how small that gap is? That is the definition of connection. So now the bat is staying here. Now if the bat was out here, he's not near as strong. Like this ball's not going to go. It's probably going to be a rollover to the third baseman or the shortstop. It's not going to be driven off the scoreboard. He is staying so connected here to where, and he has room with his back shoulder or his back elbow where it can clear and he can get through. If his back elbow gets stuck, he's got nothing to get through, and that's how you have to compensate and you kind of roll this way. But that now the fact that he's connected and he's kind of got that lean, his back shoulder, his back elbow comes through. Now he's not only connected, but he's got space to work through the middle of the field, right? And then if you keep moving, you get to contact right there. It is a pitch down the zone. Jared already talked about it. You do not go get the ball down with your hands.
No.
You go
or
get
your upper body.
Or your upper body.
Yeah.
You don't lose posture to go get the ball down the zone. You go get the ball down the zone with your legs, and that's just staying grounded.
Yeah.
As long as you don't lose posture and you stay there, the only thing that changes is what your contact point. Not, hey, I got to go down and get it, or I got to go do something different. And he stays down. This pitch is a pitch down in the zone. This is hard to elevate unless you do it the right way. And he goes down and gets it, and this is an absolutely picture-perfect swing. Also, when you were younger, when I was younger, they used to tell me, if you want to pull the ball, you got to hit the ball way out in front.
No.
If you want to hit the ball at the middle, it's got to be even with your front side. If you hit the ball to the opposite field, it's got to be inside your front foot.
Let it travel.
That's almost 4 feet that you got to make a difference. False. In reality, it's about 6 inches difference. If you want to pull the ball outside of your front foot, you make contact outside your front foot. If you want to hit the ball up the middle, even with your front foot. If you want the ball at right center field, just inside your front foot. That's 6 inches that you have to make. This pitch, he's making contact little bit outside of his front foot. This ball goes off the left center field scoreboard.
Here's what I got to you, Lloyd. Can you go just a little bit further, and I'll tell you when to stop.
Oof.
Go a little bit further.
Oh, wait. Look at that extension.
Oh, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Go a little bit further. So you can stop here. So for me, now he has not left his stance. He is finishing the swing. And I try to tell guys this all the time. If you want to watch someone finish through a swing, for me, direction is super, super, super key. But direction starts with understanding how to get direction. It doesn't matter if the pitch is on the black inside or the pitch is on the black away. What you want to be able to do is keep your weight moving through the pitcher, through the middle of the field as long as possible. Now, what the hell does that mean? Okay, you see that back shoulder, his right shoulder? You want to be able to get that shoulder through so far that you feel like that shoulder is what's taking you right to the pitcher. Now, contact point becomes, it doesn't really matter. I'll catch you somewhere along this train, but if I can always be moving through the pitcher, if I can always find a way to get inside and get my back shoulder as far forward as possible, that means you're staying in the zone very long and you're giving your bat and your barrel the longest chance to make solid contact before you leave the zone and come out of it.
I mean, this is...
So that's how the extension's there,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
So if you stop it, now go a little bit longer. Stop it. Here's also what I like. You're talking about extension and direction and getting through the baseball, right? That is everything. You hear that from every hitting coach. This is the definition of getting through. When he makes contact, when you saw, he made contact and his front side was stiff. Then he continues that direction. He stays through the baseball. Your swing's not over with when you make contact. It's over with when you get through contact.
Right, because if you go contact here and you go out the zone, you get a nice little
or
six
top
hopper
spin
you get
single.
a little top spin single, maybe something in the 6 hole, maybe a 2-hopper to short, and you're going your ass back to the dugout.
Right. You hit hard. Good exit velo.
Yeah, probably great
Sit
exit
down.
velo. Yeah.
Right. This one, he gets to it. He sits through it. He gets through it. Directions continuing to go to center field. And that's why you see when he finishes his swing, then the front knee ends up starting to bend because he is getting as far extended as he can. Continue. And he's going, and then he gets that finish, and it's off the scoreboard. Like that is a favorite swing of the weekend.
Yeah. And I got to tell you right now, if that's what you're going to get from Hayden Travinsky, you may see 25 plus this year.
I mean, that's special.
I'm just going to let you know that. That ain't, he just got popped.
Yeah.
No, that's a special swing.
Early in the year,
And you get that.
I mean, early in his career.
And you get this, honestly, let me be honest with you. You get the ability to walk away from a swing like that.
When you walk through it, when you fall.
That lets you know how balanced he is. That's how balanced in his swing he is, that he can walk away from a swing like that.
Yep.
His ability to have a pimp job comes from his ability to be so balanced and so grounded that it's not even funny.
Early in his college career, he struggled with some velo. He did not struggle with velo last year.
No.
And I don't expect him to struggle with velo. His swing right now looks amazing, and this is a picture-perfect swing. My favorite swing of the weekend. That boy Ocho. Great pimp job, too.
Yeah.
That thing literally, the bat drop finished the swing.
All right. What's the next one we want?
Got Brady Neal up next, or
Okay.
we can go Tommy or Monster. Surprise you? There's Brady.
Okay.
Left-handed bat. Tell me when.
Just roll it through first,
okay,
and then now we go back and do it again.
That's also great.
It is.
That's also great. Now he falls back on his back. That's okay because he pulled it.
I'm saying, and we'll find out why, too. We can go ahead.
Yeah.
So,
Stop.
stop.
Ooh, great.
Now, see, this upper half, to me,
Great.
but to me, like, this is what I mean by maximizing in a way, or not even maximize, because I could still point something out here if you want me to point it out. But my point is, upper half wise, this is where I would love to see every hitter get. And since I quote unquote give lessons, I always tell hitters this, and I really do mean this. I don't give a damn if you want to bring a chair out of the dugout with you and put it in the box. That's fine. Do whatever you want. Stance is a style to me, and that is whatever you're comfortable with. But if I can't see you consistently get to these spots on time, now we need to talk about tinkering how you start, because I'm just trying to get you to this spot as on time, all the time, as much as possible, right? And so what he's able to do upper half to me is great. Now, what I see a little bit lower half is just a hair, and I'm talking like not bad, honestly, a hair bit of lower half leakage, and I think that's why you end up getting the quote unquote, like you said, lean back at the end of the swing, is because I kind of leaked a little bit, and now that makes me have to come off of that a little more than I want. But that's just youth as well. And that's something that he'll learn to actually use a little more as he goes. But this upper half, if I could get any and every hitter in that spot, we cooking right there.
Yeah, and so I know you said that the leak, and I'm not disagreeing.
No, it's not
with
bad.
it.
It's not bad.
Because what I see is I see this load, right, with his upper body, which we talked about, which we love. I also see a little bit of I still see the connection with his back hips there, because he's still kind of loaded into it. Now he could probably get a little bit more in there, but he's not to where, so he starts here and then he gets back, and he kind of has, now right there, that's when he's about to offer a swing forward. So that's a little different, but there's a little bit of leakage. I see it right there.
Yeah.
Even that's the next slide. Not ton, like minimal, which don't even worry about it. Like, I don't even want to say leakage, because I don't want you to think
I'll tell you where I get leakage from when I see it. This is going to be super technical. So you see, if I drew a rod, if I stuck a rod right in between his big toe and his middle toe on his back foot, and I literally it was pointing like a flag straight up out of the sky, right? I think the guys that are really, really, really special at holding their backside are really, really, really special at holding that knee over that back toe for as long as possible. And now some guys that are not good at it's the weirdest move ever. I don't think it was something I was ever able to do, but you also will see some guys who, once they start to load, that back knee will shoot backwards and find its way over that knee. The guys that are able to do that are the ones that are really able to hold that backside. And if we went back to Travinsky's swing, you'll see what I mean, because look at where Brady's foot is and look at where that back knee is. That's what I mean by leakage, is understanding how to keep that back before you're actually ready to launch. And that's a difference. When he's launching at this point. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's already launching. So for me, those are the guys that I see that are able to, quote unquote, hold that spot a little longer.
His initial move is a lot simpler. Like, it's not as big. And Travinsky didn't have a big move, but like, it was a little bit simpler of a load and of a move. He does a really good job with his upper body. I'm okay with the lower half. I know you're okay with the lower half.
I'm not okay with it.
And so, because in this situation, he's back and he's strided and he's still in a position where he's behind it and he can unload on it, right? Now go to the next frame, couple frames, right? So
look at that stack.
Go back. One more. So right before he gets to contact, like when he starts to bring that right there, that it's pretty good, right? So now you talk about the connection, you talk about the bat lag. If we could get this in super slow-mo, from this moment, you see that elbow coming through and that bat is connected and it's lagging, and then when he makes contact, it's through. And this is a grand slam. This is his grand slam to right field.
So, like, you understand, too, like,
and
you're watching
he stayed close on the front side,
Of course.
too.
You're watching two dudes I'm talking super technical about a swinger right now, right? And not every swing is going to be perfect. So that's kind of what we're getting on this thing. And there's no, he needs to go back in the lab. This is not good enough. That's not
this is great.
What I'm saying. He is so in the fight, it's not even funny right here. But if I'm going to break it down and get super technical, to me, that's when I see. When I see hitters that are, like, really unbelievable at using their lower half, it almost seems like when they start their load, if I freeze framed them in a spot, it almost seems like they could hold that spot for a day and a half if they wanted to. It almost seems to me, and look, he can get away with it a little bit because he's got a wider start, but it almost seems to me as soon as that load starts, it's almost a little bit of a leakage, right? But he starts at a wider spot, so it allows him to do it because it's not a big move and he starts at a wider spot. Get what I'm saying? So, like, that's what I see in those two things.
And this is a great
But
swing.
that's unbelievable. Look at how stacked he is at that swing right there.
This is a grand slam. I think his exit velo is like.
Can you get to contact point again? So that ball probably is at, let's be fair and say, at his letters when he gets to contact. Go ahead, shoot it again. Right?
Yeah.
Let's be fair and say out of his letters when he gets to contact. You think he's still bottom hand up, top hand down right now?
You got on top of that?
You think he got on top? Do you think he tried to chop down to get to that baseball? Or do you think he still let that same thing? Do you think his hands are above the baseball still? Okay, I think that matters, right? So there you go.
Great swing. Another good one. Home run.
And then go ahead
and look,
back it up just a hair for me.
I think he falls back a little bit.
He does, but watch how far that back shoulder goes towards the pitcher.
Right. Keep going.
Look at that.
Yep. And I think it's a little bit because that pitch is in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, but I mean,
that's a firm base right there.
Love that. Love grand slams. Yeah. Great swing. That's two really good ones.
Very good swing.
Next one's Tommy.
job.
Great bat flip, too.
Very good swing.
Lefties can do that.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
See you.
Let's do Tommy's because I think this one's really cool because it's this two-strike approach. It's wide Tommy, and it's very simple, but he generates a lot of bat speed and a lot of exit velo from it. And I want to break it down because it's so unique. I mean, that's so crazy that he can do it that way. So when you have a guy, from my experience, right, every time I would try to get wide like that, it was very hard for me to get back and then be able to get through it the way he does it. Like, he does it to where his back foot comes off the ground.
But he does it, too. It's also funny. Like, you're not used to seeing guys get wide, but also start – his hips aren't open, but his front foot is
Yeah.
open, right? And you don't see guys do that a lot, which is also different. But once again, that thing we always talked about with the first two guys, stay right there, is look at the rubber band action that he's creating by getting that scat pinch up top, right? He's getting that thing to a spot to where there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of stretch, if you will, to where it's now ready to fire.
Mm-hmm. And he's got rhythm. Everybody's rhythm is a little different. Travinsky's got more wiggle. He's got this almost like a little back tip, and then it gets back. It's kind of like creates that rhythm. As long as you get to where you need to get to, I don't care how you get it. I mean, talk about Gary Sheffield did all that stuff. Like
I guess look, I don't like to sound like I'm picking on the kid because I'm not. But even with Hayden, even with Tommy in a wide spot, you can still see Tommy make a move almost to where when he starts to load, there is a backfield that feels like he's holding something. And it almost was like Brady had kind of like an up and down and fall. I don't want to say fall. It's not even much of a fall because he doesn't have a leg kick. But there's like a little bit more of a hold with the lower half.
Yeah. I mean, that's just – he is so in his backside and so in his legs that when he offers his swing, and this is everything. It's not only when he's wide, but when he offers – and he loads, everything, all of his energy is coming from his back hip through the pitcher. That's why his backside comes off, and there's no movement on his front side, this is very hard to do. That's why there's not many people that do what he does that way. And that's why he can generate so much pop even with no stride. I mean, look how high his back foot is off the ground.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. There is a lot of transferring of the weight right there in that swing.
Crazy.
And it's so controlled but so violent.
And he even like comes up, but it's like up out of the swing like after he makes contact.
Yeah. He's got like that Happy Gilmore led like walk through, if you will.
Like look at his leg. It's crazy. Wild. I mean, he's got some strong hands.
I was about to say, he looked like he's using his hands so much. You know,
he
feels
just
like
so
he knows
connected.
exactly where he is in the
He's
swing.
so connected body-wise that it allows his hands to just really, really work free. Mm-hmm. And it's impressive what he can do.
Yeah, that's
seeing it.
Those three really good swings. We're not going to have time to break down the last one, Stephen Milam, but we're going to break it. We'll break him down later on the week or next week. We got a lot of time to do it because I love. You can just show it.
Yeah, I just wanted to show
I do love his swing. He's a switch hitter, and I think he's gonna have a lot of really good ones. His is also get down in the legs. Hey, I don't care how you set up as long as you get to the spot. And we're gonna get to that through the course of the year. But those are three really, really good swings. Two of them were home runs. Tommy's was not. I think Tommy's was maybe a double. But if those guys can continue to do that, if Brady Newell can continue to do that, you're gonna see him hit some more homers. I mean, last year he had 3 home runs off of 3 really good starters. Oppo Tacos, like he's got the ability to do it. He's got one more. He's a year more developed, stronger. I expect some pretty big things from those guys in the lineup. So that was pretty good. Hopefully that was as good as last week's.
Yeah, I mean, even me, I love you guys, but I still feel like I learn a lot from hearing y'all break it down. You do it in a very simplistic way to where you don't have to be a baseball player to know what you're looking at. Because I related a lot to the golf swing.
And there's a lot to relate to.
So that's why I feel like I know what kind of y'all are saying, because that's what I think about. I didn't do a whole lot with the baseball swing, a lot of contact.
He hit a homer.
Did hit a homer, grand slam. Watch out now. Hungover, drunk, some would say.
That's the best time to do
Number
it.
1 team in Louisiana. In
There you
5A.
go.
Cookie.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you today. On Wednesday, we'll be back live in studio from 6 to 8 p.m. We will hopefully have Coach Jay Johnson. We got to make sure we got the video calls working, right? I know, Lloyd. We got to work on that
Back
big
to
time.
reality.
Yep, we got to work on that big time. We will have more conversation about LSU baseball. We will preview the series that they have starting on Thursday. And LSU basketball plays at 8 p.m. that night. So you'll get to listen to us and watch them listen. They're coming off a big one. Play Kentucky. Big game.
Mm-hmm. I think Coach McMahon said they have a possibly 3 to 4 first-round picks on the Kentucky team. So that's not
Kentucky was in a Kentucky basically had the whole All-Star team in the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah, they did.
So the SEC led every conference in All-Star selections. I think Kentucky had I don't even know 7, 8 of them, 6. I don't even know how many they had. A ton. Kentucky's not ever short of talent. Every year, somebody says, "Oh, Coach Cal's done. They're done. They're done. They're done." Every year at the end of the year, you look up and you're like, "Oh, well, they're not done.
They can recruit a little bit.
Yeah, they're back." But so that'll be Wednesday night. You'll have us on Wednesday night as well, and we will have a lot more conversation about sports. Let's get to our seggies. The steak of the day is brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place.
Go get you some lunch if you're in town
Go
for
get some lunch.
Wednesday's
If you're
game.
in town for Wednesday's game, go get you some lunch.
Grab you a burger.
Yeah.
If you can't make it to lunch, grab you a steak at dinner.
Great steaks.
tamales.
There you go.
Couple
Tamales.
fried bread.
Yep.
Can't go wrong.
Uh-huh.
The steak of the day belongs to your family and somebody in your family, Robert Cairn.
Well, the person you said that's apparently out of me for fighting someone that I didn't even remember.
Yeah, he had a
fighting.
lot to say this weekend.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to shift some blame considering we had a conversation, and usually this would be something that I would do.
This is a total Lloyd move that got. See, how does it feel?
I got reverse
How does it
Uno'd.
feel?
Not great, Bob.
Okay.
But
See?
I was going to go to the LSU baseball game. Opening day, wanted to go. Then that was a whole different fiasco that we stumbled upon where a lot going on. A lot going on up after the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like they battened down the hatches
I
a
missed
little
that
bit.
entire thing over there. I walked across the street to take a phone call, and all of a sudden, I missed that whole thing.
Yeah.
And we had some
Miscommunication.
and some rulings that you couldn't do some things that people were trying to do. It's just a lot of things happen.
New season for everybody.
Yeah.
But so I go to the first probably 3 innings of the baseball game, saw none of it. And then we sit down, and I was like, oh, wait. All right, do I want to drive the 2.5, 3
Well,
hours?
you said it was 2, and then you told me it was 4 hours.
It felt like it.
It's
And
not feels
He
like.
still don't know what he was doing.
no.
No, it's not feels like.
And so I was like, all right, I'll be able to ride with my buddy. We made a plan. He's like, I'm going to leave at 3:45. So I leave the baseball game at probably 3:15.
You were very prompt. I
Got-
will give you that.
Got all my stuff in order. I get in the car and I call him. I'm like, hey, where do you want to meet up so we can go to Pawpaw's Court in Montague, Louisiana? And he goes, oh, Coach, I hit the road an hour ago. I was like, Robert, do you not remember we had a conversation not only last night but today that you're leaving at 3:45? I've left the game. Now I'm ready. I'm packed. We're going. And he's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I was like, I think you should turn around.
Well, that was my next question to you. So I know you said, I was going to ask you, did you give him a reminder, hey, don't forget I'm riding with you?
Yeah.
The day of.
Yes, and it was that night, and then the second text was in the next day, the morning. It's like, all right, still game on for leaving. And he's like, yep, I'll give you a shout, whatever. Never gives me a shout.
Wow.
And so I
Okay,
get.
so I can't even defend him.
You can't. And so Rob's a good guy, as nice as can be.
Great guy.
He's never felt that he's not on this side of where I can go.
Yeah, well, he's usually
Right.
roles are reversed where you're letting him down.
Right, and then I can, nobody can be quite as cutting as I can at some point, so I wore him out.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah.
You're
But then-
petty.
Yes. So every joke, everything
Was about how your
directed
ass
at
got
Rob.
How did he handle it?
Good, and then I felt bad because he's so nice, and I was like, Rob's done a lot for me my entire life. Like, he's always usually picking up the pieces.
Yep.
Made a couple of jokes, got there, then I was like, all right, you're good, that's enough. And then I would do it again, and he was like, all right, this is terrible. Like, I probably should have turned around. But ended up working out in our favor, or my favor at least. Left last night from Montague, go home, go to Ellick. My buddy rides with me, shout out Cole, so that cut the trip. The drive alone was brutal. Like, and especially when you're trying to get where we were going, it's like 2 miles left, half a mile right, and it's just like you can't ever really
Drive
relax.
through this cane field.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it was just brutal to do by yourself. And somebody like me who's terrible with directions and has to look at their phone. Phone was dying. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. Got there, and everybody was like, oh my God, he came by himself. Like, they thought I wasn't gonna come at all.
Right.
So we get the big pop.
There you go.
And it all worked out well. But to have to go from going to having a car full of, like 3 or 4 guys where it's gonna be fun. I won't have to drive.
Oh, so he didn't drive by himself either.
No, he
had
picked up people from the airport in New Orleans.
He just
Yeah.
So he didn't go New Orleans and back. He just picked him up from New Orleans. So you were going
He
that
went
way.
Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Montague.
Okay. Wow.
And
Damn.
I was left to fend for myself.
He must
Made
have
it.
really. He must have really not wanted you in the car.
Yeah, he usually has
Either that or
good memory.
those pickup times got a little off track.
It was all Central Time. I do know that until it wasn't. Until it was 3:45 was 2:45, and I was like, how did that happen?
The
Oh,
first
so-
pickups happened earlier, and they just
Just totally forgot.
All right.
this train doesn't stop,
So
baby.
Rob,
At least y'all
Shout out.
ironed it out.
We did.
Y'all ironed it out.
then he started throwing you under the bus at
Well,
the
it's not
bachelor
you-
party.
It's like you throw me
You
under
think
the
I'm a
bus.
bad guy? Mikey's beating up 5'6" bald guys.
Yep, I remember that story. Yep, that's
Yeah,
the
see,
one.
I don't remember that, but maybe it happened. I don't know if they were 5'6", but
5'6", balding and pale.
is that what he said?
Uh-huh.
Yep, that's the one I remember. You remember you told me about him, about the lockhead?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Curtain call is brought to you by our friends at the Shirt Partners.
And?
Me. And me.
I have a curtain call.
Oh, good.
Oh,
After, we obviously started the show on, was it Wednesday? With some tragedy that happened in Kansas
Yes.
City.
yeah.
From that concrete grew a rose. Clyde Edwards
From tragedy, you see a lot of heroes.
You did. You obviously saw some people take, matters into their own hands, tackle people that had a gun, whatever. And then you also have Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire given Hero Award after parade shooting. Kansas City Chiefs running back is being rewarded for his efforts during the aftermath of the Super Bowl celebration on Wednesday. Kansas City native Penny Cotton posted on Facebook detailing how the 23-year-old kept her son safe during the shooting after the rally and that her son Zach was given the time of his life at the celebration. As a result, the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, a national nonprofit organization dedicated to ending school violence and formed after the Robb Elementary School mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, added CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to their National Heroism Award recipients. So shout out Clyde. He's always just a good dude.
Great dude.
You see him.
He's gonna be a nurse.
Yeah, he's going to be a nurse. You saw him he even can tolerate Brittany Mahomes. They seem to like each other when you saw him at the Super Bowl. He's like, I haven't seen her in forever. It was great to be able to celebrate, whatever.
How has he not seen him forever? She just stays away from the
I
team.
guess he hadn't seen Clyde.
Are you
but
trying to
he
say
was
she's
pumped.
not allowed at the facility? Is that what
I mean, usually you'd see them.
But yeah, they're great friends, and you see Clyde obviously step up whenever things get
I like it.
chaotic.
I like it.
Yeah, so shout out Clyde. Love Clyde.
Nice. I'm going to give my curtain call to the LSU baseball team. Whether you believe it or not, when you back up a national championship and you bring in a good number of new guys to go out there and not skip a beat, I don't really care who the beat is. Like, we went around the country and talked about teams who dropped some games this
Florida
weekend.
didn't even want to play the rest of the year.
There you go. You come out there and you get the job done. That's what's expected of a great program, and that's to show the things that are being built and installed and instilled here. And I'm going to go ahead and give my curtain call to that squad. It's a nice start to build upon and kind of go forward with.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I'm gonna go with stay on the LSU, not baseball. We'll go with the LSU basketball team.
Okay.
Shout out to the LSU basketball team because I counted them out in that game. I think a lot of people have been frustrated. I think a lot of people have been happy with how the improvement from one year to the other. They've been in every game. They have been in they've had the opportunity to win a few. They've lost some of those 50-50 games where they either crumbled at the end of the game or didn't make the last shot to win the game, a la Florida. Those types of games. Same guy, right? So they are down 16 in the second half to South Carolina, who's ranked 11th in the country. And they come all the way back, which they did the same thing multiple times this year. But this time they were able to finish. They were down by 2, 63-62. Jordan Wright gets in there, gets fouled. Same guy who kind of alligator armed the game, to put him in overtime against Florida. He gets fouled, makes the 2 free throws, takes it, and then, boy, the guy for South Carolina who shot it from the corner, it looked like it was about to hit the rafters. And I thought it was going to go in. It almost went in, but it did not, and they finally got the break, and they won, and I think that's a big win. They play Kentucky on Wednesday. And you can see the improvement that
they needed to get one, just because how close they have been, and
they play hard, man.
Jordan Wright,
needed it.
Whenever you had what happened against Florida, where it's like, oh God, like Bunny missed it. Maybe a little don't know the time, but I think he came back and scored the last 7 points of that game against South Carolina. So it's clearly a dude.
No doubt. So hopefully they can keep it going in Kentucky and shock the world again. We'll see, but it's nice to see some improvement. That's all right. That's all we got today. We'll be back on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. We appreciate you tuning in. Congratulations to LSU for having a 4-game sweep. That's tough. Hopefully do it again next weekend. And we'll be back on Wednesday. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Like means a whole lot.
Yes, it does. It does mean a whole lot. Y'all done a really good job of that. we've had more subscribers recently. We've had some more views. We appreciate that. I know it's baseball season. We get a little tick up. Mm-hmm. But let's keep that going. If you can't watch us, you like listen to us, we're anywhere you get your pods. And we appreciate you. We'll see you. We'll see you on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Peace.